How's it going, Allie?
Oh, it's going.
Yeah? How you feeling, pregnant lady?
For the first time
Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
in my entire life, I threw up all over myself.
That's not good.
And I was driving.
That's even worse. Okay.
And I made eye contact with someone while it happened.
Oh.
So.
That's not... None of that is good.
Super fucking duper.
No, not fun. Not fun at all.
No.
I'm sorry you dealt with that.
It's okay.
Isn't this a miracle? Is childbirth a miracle?
I love it so fucking much.
It's so good.
It's so good. I honestly don't get people who are like, I loved being pregnant. Because I'm like, what part of this did you love?
Right.
I'm really over it. I'm over the foot in my rib cage all the time. And the constant fucking barfing. And that did not go away for me. Like, some women, it's just the first trimester.
Yeah.
I got it all 3.
Yeah, hyperemesis gravidae, Giardina.
HG, as it's fondly called.
Gardevoir, some shit. Yeah. I gotta tell you, that must suck, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to, like lighten it or anything, but it does seem like it fucking sucks because it is just sort of like, you hear these stories which is like, my pregnancy, everything was lovely, and I just ate marshmallows. And I just sat and I drenched myself in oils. Like, it just like, and for you, it's literally just been, I need nothing but bread in my stomach because otherwise I will throw up.
If I don't have a specific pill, I can't keep water down.
Yeah, it's fucking rough, dude.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It's rough.
Yeah, it sucks. And I'm really sorry you're going through that.
It's okay. You guys are going to have to listen to me go on another pregnancy rant because I have another rant.
Hey, you're owed one. It's okay.
My rant is about specifically cisgendered men in relationships with cisgendered women who are pregnant. And the reason that my rant is about this is because, like, the bar for men is so fucking low.
Is this the part where I learned that I've been fucking up?
No. quite the opposite.
Just saying.
So typically how these things work is, from what I've seen, you know, partners of like non-binary or you know, even trans men or gay couples or lesbians, they're all really supportive, and so you fall into that.
Thank you.
Where you're incredibly, incredibly supportive, and I know you know this.
What good company to keep.
Seriously though, and I know you know this because literally every time we go to the doctor's office, our midwife says, "Chad, you broke the bell curve."
Yeah, that was really nice to hear.
Yeah, like and it's true. Chad has gone to every single one of my appointments. He hasn't missed a single one, and I've had to have extra. Because I have an autoimmune disease and hyperemesis.
Yay.
So I have more appointments than normal.
Yeah. It's also a position of privilege, though, because I've been working at the same place for a while now, so I have PTO saved up. But, like, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I wanted to make it a goal to at least try not to miss any, and I haven't.
No,
I haven't missed a single fucking one. Yeah. When our doctor, I don't know if she wants
I don't want
her
to name check
out.
her.
Yeah, it's cool. When our midwife like was just like because like every time she asks like, Chad, do you have any questions? And like every time it's just like, what should I be doing right now? Like what can I be doing? Like, you know, we haven't really been doing it. I really want to. You just got to let me know when you're not too tired for it.
My lymphatic.
Yeah, lymphatics. Lymphatic acid? Drainage, yeah.
It sounds really gross, but it's just literally draining lymph nodes.
Yes, yeah. It's little tiny massages you do. That really just makes it so that your legs don't hurt no more.
Yeah, they're actually not as swollen so much anymore now that it's not so fucking hot.
That's good.
So my feet are still kind of puffy, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be.
Yeah. But, like, you know, like, these are all things that I've just tried my best to do, you know, like, stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like my shoes right now, I don't know, like, it was something that, like, I was dealing with, like, at the beginning of the pregnancy, where I was just like, well, I don't feel like a dad. Like, I'm not a dad yet. You're a mom. You're carrying the baby. Like, you are nurturing, you're feeding the baby. You're a mom, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like a dad. I just feel like a dude that just kind of squirted a little bit, and now a baby is coming in 9 months.
Yeah, now growing a person. Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, I've tried my absolute best to be as present and as, like, you know, like, engaged as I possibly can.
And attentive. You've been incredibly helpful, especially with how hard this pregnancy has been.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I've been trying, and it's been easy, honestly. Like,
well, I'm glad you think that.
well, yeah, sorry.
Well, no,
From my end.
No, I know. I knew what you meant by that, but I'm glad that you think that taking care of me has been easy because I feel like
it's the
it
easiest
hasn't.
thing in the world for me to do. It feels like what I was meant to do was
Aw.
to take care of you or just take care of my family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a walking love language.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know, dog. Like, you always say that, like, you know, my. I don't want to use, like, indigenous terms or nothing like that, but the animal that I closely correlate to, I think everybody knows what I'm trying not to say, you've always said is like a big old gorilla, and it's just like,
a gorilla or a Saint Bernard.
I identify with both of those.
Yeah.
Of just like, yeah. And, like, I don't know, I feel like the people listening that know me probably would agree to those, but, like, yeah, man, like, it's... You know, it's been stressful, like, for me, at least. Like, not the pregnancy. Like, you know what's funny is that, taking care of you, like, it honestly just, it gives me so much serotonin that, like, it's the thing I look forward to is coming home and just taking care of you.
Well, I'm glad, because
for those of you that care,
I've been a fickle fucking creature.
It's been fun, honestly, and I have gained 40 pounds. Because I've been eating the same foods you've been craving.
Okay, here's the thing, though, because of my hyperemesis, I'm not gaining any weight.
I know.
I haven't...
Don't worry, I'm gaining it for you.
I've lost... most of... For this trimester is the first trimester I've gained weight.
Yeah.
I've lost weight both trimesters before. So, like, the other day I got on the scale and I was like, oh my god, I gained weight! And it was just like, that's the first time I've ever going to shout that.
Yeah. So yeah, I've gained 40 pounds.
Sorry.
It's okay. I just need to work on it, like, after the baby. Like, now's not the time to focus on that shit. That's very vain of me to, like, be worried about that, right? We got other shit going on. But, like, beyond that, and, like, just work, and, like, my work homies that are listening know exactly what we're all going through right now. And, like, baby coming along, like, I'm stressed. Like, I'm incredibly stressed out.
Yeah, it's a stressful time for us.
For those of you that care and listen to both podcasts, I do have another podcast called Cow Juice Movies that has been going on for a while now. Started out as Cow Juice and then whatever.
Yeah.
I'm taking a step away from that. And, like, I kind of have to. This podcast is very easy. It feels very natural.
We can do it in the comfort of our own home. I'm literally in my fucking PJs right now.
Yeah, I'm basically the clown.
Yeah.
Listening to these stories and, like, talking about it. And, like, so yeah, I just, so apologies for anybody who wants to hear me on that podcast. Like, I'm taking a step away for a little bit from that.
We got family shit to focus on.
We got family shit to focus on. I'm handling some things well and other things not really. I'm not, like, and everything with you I'm putting as a priority, which I hope, like, it hasn't been affected. Yeah. And, like, but, like, my mental health and, like, my work-life balance is not very good right now. Yeah. I'm not handling it very well.
Yeah.
You know?
We swapped places.
And I don't want to fall back into, like, a pattern of, like, drinking and abuse and, like, you know, like, I'm really glad that I haven't.
Yeah.
I've gotten very close, and, like, so I really need to, like focus on that shit. So yeah. But, like, I'm not kidding when I say, like, it's been so easy. Like, you know, you always say, like, sorry to make this so domestic, everybody, but apparently people like this. Is our little tiny, like, catch up with each other during this. Yeah. So, like, I'm happy about it. We'll get to the fucking tits and blood and guts and shit.
Yeah. Well, there's no tits, but
there's lots of tits. There's lots of tits in this one.
Oh, I was chosen. Lay down, bud.
Specifically, the spring-tailed brush tit.
Okay,
endemic to the Kholat region of Russia.
There's somebody who makes sweatshirts that have, like, blue-footed boobies on them.
And it says, "Look at my boobies."
It says nice boobies.
Aww.
Or it's got, like, some the tits.
Yeah.
And then it's nice tits.
That's pretty good.
And I kind of want it because it's just like, that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, like, okay. So, like, into, like, the domestic stuff.
So, yeah.
Like, you always said that, like, you feel like you were destined to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was going, like, it always just felt incredibly right to you, right? And I'm not going to lie. For me, a husband. Like, husband and father, for me. I feel like this is, like, the role that fits super fucking well for me. And, like, I love it. And it makes me so happy that I can take care of you. And being told by outside people that, like, I don't think you understand that, like, men don't really do this.
No.
Like, makes it just validates the shit out of me. And I really appreciate it. Because I really, like, saying, like, it's a loaded thing to say, like, oh, I've been trying. But, like, I have been trying because I want to be good.
Yeah. But, so I guess that's where my rant is coming in of, like, even the bare minimum isn't trying for them. So, like...
Dude, the amount of times we've gone to the midwives, and I've recognized people through our pregnancy journey.
Yeah.
I've recognized other women, and
Never,
like, you know,
and
this is me being a voyeur, but, like, I've never seen their partners, and I don't know their situation.
No.
But it is just sort of like a, wow.
Well, and
some like,
some of these look like they might be first-time pregnancies. Some of them we've seen have other children, and this is like second pregnancy, and their partners are never there. Ever. We've seen maybe 10 men in that waiting room our entire pregnancy.
Yeah. And, like, our midwife, like, one of the last times, not the last time, but the time before, I was just like, do you have any questions? And I just asked the same question, which is, what should I be doing right now? Right? Usually the answer is just, like, just keep supporting mama. And it's just, like, you know, keep feeding her, keep making sure she's happy. And, like, the last time that I asked this, like, what should I be doing right now? Our midwife was just like, I don't know if you realize this, but you've already gone over and above everything. Like, you've taken this to a spot that, like, I don't normally get to see future fathers or men really in such a positive light. Yeah. And, like, it was, not to make it about me, but it was just sort of like that made everything feel great.
Well, and then we also have this, we're part of a nursing program, and even our, like, home nurses tell you that, like, all the time, of just, like, they're like, I mean, we could give you all these resources for dads, but, like, you're so involved anyway, I don't know if you need them.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, holy fuck.
Well, dude, like, so early on in the pregnancy, I was worried that I wasn't feeling like a dad yet, right? And I was just like, I wonder if other men, like, feel this way. And, like, there's no way to Google that because every single response comes up of, yeah, my kid's 5 and I still don't feel like a father. And it's just like, that is fucking not at all what I'm feeling right now. Like, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the pregnancy update, everybody.
Yeah, that's the pregnancy update. I want cisgendered men in heterosexual relationships with pregnant partners to do better. Yeah. Because it's ridiculous. Well, and not just in the pregnancy, as also as dads, too, because the amount of shit that I've seen on TikTok where, like, a dad is just holding their child, and people are like, what a good dad you are.
Yeah, that shit is just sort of
It's just like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, a lot of stuff should just be default.
It really should. Yeah. So the fact that, like, oh, you get praised for holding your child, and don't get me, we don't have time for me to get in on the fucking babysitting, quote unquote, because that's just, if you fathered them.
You're getting into men's rights shit right now.
You're a parent.
Yeah.
And so it's not babysitting, it's parenting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of shit, dude.
It's a lot, but
it's weird. It's weird the things that we preoccupy ourselves now that we're about to become parents.
Well, it's on our mind a lot, I think. And I think that's part of it, is because it's on our mind a lot, we naturally are like, well, why? You know? Yeah. Yeah. But, so, yeah, I guess that's the pregnancy update. I threw up on myself and...
and you want fucking birthing fathers. Wait. Just
cisgendered men in heterosexual relationships to do better.
There we go. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. I just... It would have been nice to have more resources of just, like, very positive... Like,
right.
male representation for this shit.
Yeah.
And, like, being told that, like, you are the positive male representation of this. And it's just like, I don't know what the fuck. I'm just trying to keep my wife happy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't be, like, it's great that you are, but you shouldn't be trailblazing.
No.
Like, this should already have been...
It's 2022.
This should be a firm path already.
I'm a 29-year-old who still has fucking cartoons on his t-shirts. Like, I fucking...
Right.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
What else is new?
So, I have some true crime news updates.
Ooh, Adnan Syed?
Uh-huh. So, we talked about him last week. And on Tuesday, Maryland, well, so specifically District Attorney Marilyn Mosby, has thrown out his conviction completely. They got DNA results back, and Adnan was excluded from those samples.
Fucking rat. Which means that
his
the
case
state
is
completely fucking lied.
So his case has been dropped completely.
Yeah.
He is now, as far as the state
completely
is
exonerated.
Yeah, one, completely exonerated, but two, as far as the state is concerned, an official wrongful conviction.
That's amazing.
So
Yeah.
which is amazing. He got taken off house arrest.
So I take it Sarah Koenig's gonna apologize.
Ugh, no, her fucking statement pissed me off so much.
You know what's wild
It
is that
was
we are in the
so-
minority of like seeing it for what it is. of
It
just,
was
like,
so rug
for those of you
sweeping.
that like followed the Adnan Syed case, the serial case, like closely, there's some shit that they really misappropriated. What's the right word? Misconstrued.
Misconstrued.
They definitely played it up to be more of a mystery than what it was, which unfortunately points
that's not
the finger.
what they did.
Oh, what was it?
They built it up.
Correct me, please.
They tried to make it this big mystery of we don't know who did it.
Yeah.
While also firmly in the background pointing all the fingers at Adnan.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Because everybody I ever talked to that listened to it were just like, I don't think he did it.
But they do that the whole time because because I remember thinking
Did they do it under the guise of, well, he was the one that was arrested, so
yeah,
we have to go with what the state is saying.
So literally, this isn't a verbatim.
So they're not taking
This isn't a
responsibility.
verbatim quote, but it's really close. I remember Sarah Koenig saying either Adnan is the unluckiest person that's ever lived, or he did it.
That's some fucked up shit.
And she said it multiple times in the series.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
It's casting a lot of doubt.
It's casting a lot of... And they do it constantly. Well, they'll be like, here's all these facts. They do all these drive tests.
When indeed he is incredibly unlucky. It's not that he's unlucky. It's that, like, fucking, like, the state
he was
lied.
wrongfully fucking convicted.
Yeah.
Because of police misconduct.
Gang. This makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, massive police misconduct. Fucking prosecutorial misconduct.
Yeah. It's a full up and down miscarriage of
Yeah.
justice. It's like... It's
Full blown.
Textbook fucking example of miscarriage of justice.
Yeah. And then toss in a bunch of racism.
Our criminal justice system is deeply flawed and needs to be reevaluated.
Yes.
It needs to be gutted and fucking restarted.
There's all of these things that, like, so one of the big key factors that played in was, like, the cell phone evidence, which was found as junk science.
Yeah.
Because it's not reliable, but there was all of these, like, Brady things that got tossed in there with the cell phone evidence, and they, like, undisclosed. Susan Simpson is the one that found. There was a cover sheet that prosecutor Kevin Urich conveniently tossed out.
How about that?
That said incoming calls are not reliable.
Which is against the Brady thing, right?
Yes. And the entire state's cell phone evidence is all based on incoming calls.
Huh. That kind of doesn't give you the full picture.
No.
At all.
No.
That's fucking stupid.
Plus, this most recent investigation pulled up, like, 3 more Brady violations.
Holy shit, that
That's
plane is close.
Huge plane. So there's just all of this misreporting that happened in Serial, where they just took the cell phone evidence as is, even though looking at it, you're kind of like, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
You know, there's the witness that they have that especially when they reported it, he has all of these, like, examples of being unreliable. His story changes so quickly that you're like, okay, did this happen or did... Like, you can't trust him because his story is more fickle than my fucking taste buds are right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's... So there's just all these factors that they just took him as hardcore facts. And then, after all this happened, they were like, huh, who'da thunk? But they never apologized for it. And then they made a statement where they were like, yeah, so I guess he's innocent. Cool. Kate, we're not going to cover Hayes' now unsolved case. We're done reporting on this. We're not going to talk about it ever again.
But we have... That's fucking ridiculous. So are they going to pull the serial episodes
Well,
now?
no, they're not pulling it, but they're... So she did an update. And they're not doing another one, basically. They're like...
Even the fucking Paradise Lost douchebags, like,
Yeah.
fucking redid an entire movie saying that, like, oh, hey, I think we fucked up.
Hey, we fucked up. But yeah, no,
The Paradise Lost documentary, by the way, is the documentary about the West Memphis Three.
Yes.
Another miscarriage of justice.
Yeah. Damien Eccles, who we mentioned last week, is part of that.
Favorite of mine. Fucking, I'm getting one of his books.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they basically were just like, yeah, so we're not talking about this anymore, so don't ask.
It's such a fucking... yeah. And it's also just like, they fucking... Okay, I know this is rich coming from us because of the subject matter that we talk about. And,
Yeah.
like, there's a lot of, like, conversation about ethical true crime.
Yeah.
I think, one, yeah, we need to be better about saying allegedly. But number two,
Allegedly.
we're very, very good... all jokes from Letterkenny aside. We're very good about not mocking the victim.
Very.
I made a lot of Russian voices last week, which apparently everybody loved.
Oh,
but when it comes to like a straight up grisly murder or something like that, we do try to do a good job of not mocking the victim. But like the situation surrounding it and like allegedly the perpetrator,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Or
And,
if
like,
it is solved,
Yeah.
the perpetrator.
So I would like to say with full humility, like
Yeah.
with full irony, I understand
Yeah.
what I'm about to say. But they fucking made all of their money off of limply pointing the finger at Anon, and they're not going... Like, that
Yeah.
case made Serial a fucking household name.
Yeah.
And they don't feel the fucking responsibility to do more than just hey, update. Fucking, it feels like a Nikocado Avocado apology video.
Yeah.
That's a deep cut for
That
people.
is a deep cut. Yeah, no, it's gross, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But...
And, like, we're getting better with our ethical shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, we had to find our footing.
yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've always tried to put the victim's voice first, though.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Fuck. You can talk to anybody that I've been talking to, like, about our podcast, which is just, like, how, like, grateful people are that you've been bringing a lot of the stories that you've been... I know I give you shit that, why is it always a missing or murdered woman?
Because...
It isn't, one, but...
because we're victims a lot.
So there's the thing. But, like, a lot of people
Don't
are just
even
like,
get me
how have I
started-
never heard these stories? Like,
Yeah.
Pamela Hursford,
Yeah.
Evelyn Boswell. Like,
Yeah.
all of these stories of just, like, how the fuck were these not national
There's
news?
another missing
There's an update,
child
yeah.
case. No, I don't know about Evelyn Bosman. I haven't
Oh.
looked. There's a missing child case right now in Georgia that's really fucking similar.
That's sad.
Yeah, it's
Probably
really
just neglect.
it's really sad.
That's sad.
Well, and then I've been listening to Someplace Underneath,
It's a good podcast.
and they're talking about another case out of Appalachia. Her name was Sunny. She was like 5,
A
and
lot of people go missing up in them hills.
this one's really it has some Casey Anthony feels
Ugh,
to it. It's
ugh.
yeah, it's really fucked up. But yeah, I'm not gonna cover it because Amber and Natalie,
America's hottest child killer, Casey Anthony.
yeah, Amber and Natalie do a really good job of covering that. So
Check out Someplace
yeah,
Underneath.
check it out. It's really
It's
good.
a much bigger podcast than us, but like they don't get the love that they deserve.
No, they don't. I rep them as much as I like. When people are like, I need a new podcast, I'm like, dark topics.
Yeah.
Literally, there's a trigger warning at the beginning of every fucking episode.
If you wanted to start doing that, we could.
Yeah, maybe.
Without stealing theirs.
Without stealing theirs.
Yeah.
I love half the time when Natalie's like, trigger warning, this episode just sucks.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, good.
I know. Okay, we can move on soon. But, that was a good update for Anon. That's very, very good news.
I wanted to cover that because that's fucking awesome. Hopefully, now that Hayes' case has been reopened, we actually get to see some real fucking justice and see her actual killer go to jail.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens because it sounds like they're pursuing this really, really closely. Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited to see. You know, it's sad at the same time because this should have been done the correct way years ago. Granted, some of this stuff is DNA that they didn't have in the 2000s. You know, like DNA has come a long way in 22 years.
Significantly so,
Significantly. Well, 23 technically, but yeah. So, like, I know some of this couldn't have been possible, but the fact that the state didn't even try is just the part that's so fucked up.
Yeah.
So it sucks that it's taken this long, but I'm excited to see where the case goes, what happens with it, and if we actually get some answers. I know answers don't help the family. They don't bring Hay back.
No.
But, you know, I've said this before. I don't really believe in closure, but I hope it at least gives them a way to kind of turn the chapter on their grief a little bit.
Yeah.
Where this won't be brought up so much anymore, and they can grieve knowing the actual person that killed Hay is behind bars.
Yeah.
So that's that on that.
That's that.
That's that on that.
That's that. Oh yeah, I promise. Phil, Cass, Cooper, John, Mike, Grace, and Kat, which I found out that they've been listening for a while, but just haven't told me that they've been listening, which is some shit. But shout out everybody. What's up, gang, gang? All right. So, Allie, what is our subject today?
Ermigerd.
If you weren't tired of my Russian accent from last week, guess what we're doing?
Guess what? We are doing it, babies. We are doing Dyatlov Pass.
Say, it's a favorite of yours, right?
It's a favorite of mine.
It's fairly spooky too until the snow science gets in.
Yeah.
But like then I'm gonna you'll see my eyes just drift apart. But
so I'll get into it when we get to the end.
We're gonna have a Halloween special. I'm very excited about it. I would like to ask something though, because it's early enough to where people haven't checked out yet. Not that you would. So I know that Mike said that he's going to be writing in some experiences that he's had and everything.
Yeah.
So we are doing a Halloween special. It's going to be a curated thing.
Okay.
But I would also like to ask any of the current listeners. There's a person in Texas. You've been going crazy with our episodes. I've seen you. What's up? Howdy there, partner. Fucking, hope you're doing well. Fucking, the person in Schwarzburg-Holstein, Germany?
I take no responsibility for that pronunciation.
Whatever.
My dad's German. Come on.
So, any of you, please write in a ghost story. Write in either a story that you have personally written or something that has happened to you, happened to a friend of yours. Fucking please write in. We would like to do a listener pasta episode, or at least a listener pasta section of a Halloween episode.
Yeah.
So please write in before Halloween, and then we will fucking tell your stories on air. We can give you an alias. We can give you your actual name, whatever. Also include a charity that you want to shout out to. We will give that. We will also do that as we read your story.
After we vet the charity.
Yeah. Good. That's a real good point. Okay. So anyway,
just fucking say
it's a good point. But anyways, I know I send that call out every fucking week.
I know.
But please,
nobody listens.
Leading up to Halloween, I would love for this to happen. So, you can email us at utterlyunbelievable@gmail.com. It's spelled just like the podcast with 2 D's. These double D's. Please just write in for that. So, anyways, but this is a pretty spooky, this is a spooky subject.
Yeah.
There's a very good video game based off of
There
it.
is. So, it's called Kholat.
Yes. And I lasted 10 minutes before I deleted it.
I can't remember if Sean Bean. There's somebody who, it's either Sean.
I think it's Sean Bean.
I think it's Sean Bean. Or somebody who sounds exactly like him is the narrator for it, which I love.
Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean. Not to be confused with the
Mr. Bean.
amazing Rowan Atkinson.
Right.
But no, it's very good, very spooky game. Frequently on sale, indie developers. You can find it everywhere.
It's on Switch, it's on PC,
Yeah, I got
it's on
it on a
everything.
fucking Switch. Like, it's all over. So play that if you want.
Yep, Sean Bean.
I knew it. I fucking knew it, dude.
Fucking Boromir.
Yarp.
006. Do it.
So
Anyways.
if you want to get spooked and have it narrated by Sean Bean, and if you like the story, just do it.
Check it out.
check. So let's just fucking crack right into this, shall we?
Word.
It was February of 1959, but they prepped very long before this.
Okay.
This was to be a big deal, and they were ready. They were all experienced hikers from the Ural Polytechnical Institute, and how could they not be ready?
Oh, you added flavor text.
I
to this.
added so much flavor text. Led by Igor Aleskevich Dyatlov.
I'm gonna tell you, you just commit. Just commit. We'll get the emails later. I feel like the citizens of Russia have a lot more going on right now that they won't email us.
That's true. More known as Igor Dyatlov.
Igor. Yeah.
23 was he led the group of 10 that was to summit the peak in the Orotin Mountains. What happened instead would lead to one of the world's greatest history mysteries, which recently was solved.
Which is kind of a bummer, honestly.
And I'll get
you know what I mean? It's like finding out that D.B. Cooper was just the fucking Gerber baby, just grown up. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, oh, really? That's fucking unfortunate. It's just like, it was Angela Lansbury in a wig.
I'll get into that.
R.I.P. in peace.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. Angela Lansbury, guys. I'm sad.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll get into all of this, and, like, when we get to the end, I'll cover, like, the most popular theories, some of my favorite really stupid theories.
Yeah. Yay! I love it when you do that.
Yeah. My personal favorite theory of what I thought had happened before it got solved.
Uh-huh.
And then you guys get to listen to me become a snow physicist.
Hooray. Yay.
Yay!
So that during that time, if you need me to chime in with some fucking animal facts, I will.
Okay.
Remember that one time we did that?
I do remember that.
When you talked about such a dark subject?
No, that was the Evelyn Boswell.
Yes, it was.
Where I was like, hey guys, this one's really sad. So Chad was like, we're going to do animal facts.
Baby animal facts.
Baby animal facts.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So the group was composed of 7 men and 2 women, with all but one current students of the Ural Polytechnical Institute, all looking to receive their grade 3 certification once their journey was complete. The group was as follows: Igor Dyatlov, Yuri Doroshenko, 21, Ludmila Dobina, 20, Gregory Kirashenko, 23,
Okay.
Alexander Kholat-Lavov, 24, Zendaya, kinda,
Holy shit.
Komagrova, 22, Rustem Slobodin, 23, Nikolai Thebix Brigolius, 23. I might have put an accidental Spanish on that, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Simon Zalatorov, 38, and other Yuri Yudin, 21.
God, not a shaved crotch in the bunch, I bet. Jesus, that van driving up to the mountain must have just smelt like turnips.
Well, they rode in the back.
Ugh.
We'll get there.
What? Okay.
We'll get there.
All right.
They had to issue their route with the Sverdlovsk City Committee of Physical Culture and Sport. Wow, that was a lot. And
hello and welcome to yeah.
The Sverdlovsk City Committee of Physical Culture and Sport. And they issued it on the 23rd of January, 1959. Originally, an 11th member was to join them, and he backed out as the group left Sverdlovsk.
You know what's crazy is you don't really hear a lot about Russia in the 50s. Like,
well,
it was like, you know, the Cold War was just brewing, and like, they had just dealt with the devastation of Stalingrad, Leningrad. Like, yeah, like, the Soviet Union during that era was, like, really weird.
I think probably the reason we didn't hear a lot about one was because it was the Cold War.
Yeah.
And I don't think they wanted us to.
That's fair.
You know, I think that was part of the propaganda. Is like, oh,
yeah,
you know, don't talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just like, because my grandfather was from that generation, the silent generation, right? Is I have a very strong idea of what America was like in the 50s. Very white. And,
yeah.
Like, it's just like I can't really picture what the 50s looked like in. I just picture like fucking old like Fallout pictures and shit.
My guess,
like retrofuturism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cosmonaut.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't. So Sverdlovsk, which is now known as Yekaterinburg, is located in the Ural...
Had that before. It comes with teriyaki sauce.
The Ural Federal District of Russia.
Okay.
Sverdlovsk is so much easier to say.
Sverdlovsk. Yeah.
I mean, look at that.
Let me see. I think I've gone blind.
The group would be traveling to Serov first, a smaller mining town in the foothills of the mountain, and then to Ivdel, a city with a small, very, very small population. Their final stop in civilization would be Vizai, a small town with a population of barely 5,000 people, according to the 2012 census. So I'm sure in 1959, if it barely has 5,000 people now,
yeah,
in the 50s, I can't imagine what it looked like.
It just had Igor.
Yeah.
Igor was there.
It was probably barely populated.
He made sure lake was frozen.
The town was cut off from everything. There wasn't even actually they didn't have paved roads until 1942.
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure all of the town that we grew up in didn't have paved roads until like 35 years ago.
Oh, true. Well, technically, I love to say this, and Chad loves to roll his eyes at me, but when I was a child, half of 19th was a dirt road.
For those of you who do not know colloquial local shit, 19th is now one of our biggest, most busiest roads.
Yeah.
In the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a dirt road.
I roll my eyes whenever you're just like, as a third generation,
Third, I think.
As a third generation Montanan.
I don't like to throw that shit out.
Oh god, our son's gonna say fourth.
I know.
Ugh.
I don't like to throw that shit out so much because I was talking to someone who's of native descent, and they were like, yeah, I've got like all of these generations. Like I can't count them.
Yeah, that's totally
And I was
fair.
like, you know what? That's fucking valid. So like,
it's whenever I see the native license plate.
Yep.
It's just like a
yeah.
I don't know about that, buddy.
I've purposely stopped using that vernacular.
Native Montana.
And I tell people I'm a lifelong Montanan.
Yeah, don't hassle me. I'm local.
I'm local, but
yeah.
I've only lived here my entire life.
Yeah, yeah.
Not, my ancestors' entire lifespan, which is 2,000 or more fucking years.
My ancestors came to this land and established a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've gotten better about it. But, so, like, it was cut off in winter, this really tiny town of Vizai. They didn't have paved roads until 42. Getting up there was like a big deal.
Yeah. We've driven up like trails that have not even really like dirt roads. Like it's just like you kind of have to feel up the trees.
You're like, we're driving up a game trail right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So from this tiny town, they would continue and begin their official climb of the mountain Kholat Syakhl. So we were talking about the game Kholat earlier.
So
that's where
the name comes from.
The name comes from.
I didn't realize that one of the mountaineers was named Dyatlov.
Yeah, that's where the pass came from.
Did not know that. I thought it was just like always named that.
No, so this area of the mountain wasn't very well established. Isn't a good word for it, but it wasn't very well explored by non-indigenous people. So the Russians have their own indigenous people, and they're called the Mansi. And so the Mansi live all over this area, but other Russians that wanted to do like mapping and exploring and stuff hadn't really gone into this area that much.
Yes.
So that's why the pass...
There is a specific word for that. I can't remember what it is.
It feels a little colonialism.
That's the thing,
so,
is that it's just like, well, white people don't know about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though I'm pretty sure the Mansi, like, are also,
I think they're white, but I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like the Sami, like the indigenous Finnish people.
Yeah.
They're white. They're completely white. But they are 100% indigenous to that area.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, oh, yeah.
So
From the mountains of Caucasus.
Yeah. I haven't done much research into the Mansi. I don't know if there is much.
I think that's by design.
To be perfectly honest.
I'm not going to lie. Pretty sure that a certain government made sure of that.
But so the name Kholat Syakhl comes from the Mansi word itself. Kholat meaning silent. But there's a transliteration into another Russian language that I don't know how to pronounce. It's Holtanchi. And that changes it to Dead Mountain.
Ooh. Creepy.
And for 9 of these hikers, that comes true.
Oh, you're having fun.
Shut up. The group traveled for the first few legs of their journey by train, and they arrived in Ivedale on the morning of January 25th. From Ivedale, they had to take a truck to Visahi, and that's where I said they were in the back.
Yeah.
Because it was like a big farming... You've seen them around where they carry hay and shit, so they've got like the...
Yeah.
They literally rode...
As a young boy, I used to just jump on them and fall off.
But so they rode it literally in the back of a truck.
Gotcha.
There's lots of...
Jesus. This was in the dead of winter, right?
January, yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
There's lots of... documentation of their journey that survived. A lot of my research came from, I think I list it later in the bottom, so I'll list it at the end. But there's like a project where they like translated all of their journals. They have pictures of their journals. It's like the Dyatlov Pass Incident Foundation.
So this is kind of like their Donner Party.
Kinda, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but so they had cameras, so there's lots of like photographic evidence and stuff
Not
too.
Not necessarily a tourist attraction, but it is like a sort of like, ooh, look at this.
Yeah.
Bro, isn't this scary?
But so there's lots of documentation of their journey. That's how we know all of these little details and things.
Yeah.
And so I'll show you all of that because I pulled a bunch of pictures from their website. So I'll show that all to you when we get to the end.
Okay.
And I'll try to make sure we post them to the gram. But so that's how we know what the truck looks like because there's pictures of them in the back of the truck and stuff. But so from Ivedale, they rode in the back of the truck to Visahi. They purchased some bread to make sure their rations would spread a little better and have a little extra fuel to start the hike in the morning. Because this is kind of where they're at the end of civilization.
Yeah.
Before they left, they sent out a telegram to their sports club promising that they would make contact again once they got back to Visahi after summiting the mountain. Igor Dyatlov believed that this would be no later than February 12th.
Wow. So this is a...
It's going to take a while.
It's a trek. Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to...
Well, these guys are trying to get their certs, right? So this is probably like the final test.
Yeah. This is a BFD as far as their certifications go.
Neat. Well, not neat. I know the ending.
Yeah. Neat if it had worked out.
Yeah.
On January 20th...
You're just telling a story of hikers that just go up and come back down, right?
Yeah, it's really, really heartfelt.
Yeah, just like last week.
Yeah. On January 27th, they began their way to Goro Oraten. they would stay with some loggers in the 41st district. And there are lots of photos of all of them hanging out at this logging camp. And there's one logger that had this just majestic beard that they all hung out with and fell in love with. And they affectionately referred to him as the Beard. He shows up in all... I'm serious. He shows up in all of their journals. They have all these entries of like, oh yeah...
There is no need for coats. Just grab onto my thighs.
Yuri wants to hang out with the Beard more, and we have to tell him we need to get going. And like, yeah, they're like, of all the people that had journals, everybody talked about the Beard. They were obsessed with this guy. They were like, we love him.
Oh God.
And once you see the picture of this man, you're gonna be like, yeah, I get it.
I had testicles the size of guinea fowl.
So that's on the January 27th. The following day, January 28th, one of the Yuris, because there's two.
yeah, it's a Russian story. Yeah. Figured.
Yeah. Yuri Yudin has to turn back due to knee and joint pain that made it unbearable for him to continue the hike. So this is where...
Gout? Get out!
He had... I think it would be considered like rheumatoid arthritis nowadays.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But...
back then it was called being a pussy.
Probably.
Yeah. Rub some salt in it there, Nancy boy.
Oh, I literally just said. He suffered from rheumatism and had a congenital heart defect that the cold only continued to worsen.
Yeah, so, like, they do that.
He was in constant...
A Kholat-ta pain?
Yeah! He was in
Title of the episode!
No! He was in constant pain. Like, everybody was really worried about him because they were like... Because they skied. Mm-hmm. I guess people call it skinning now, where they're kind of skis, but whatever.
Is it like cross-country shit?
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do winter sports, so I've lived here my whole life. I don't do winter sports.
I guess it would be cross country, yeah.
Yeah.
So they were skiing, and they were like, we literally were watching Yuri like in pain. Every motion was grueling for him, and he was like, I can't fucking do this.
That'd be rough.
Yeah, he was like, I just can't.
How old was he if he had rheumatism?
21.
God damn.
It's it's considered an autoimmune disease now.
Yeah.
But so he went back to Versailles and took the whole trek back to the institute. But so this is where the number shifts from 10 to 9, because he's the only one that survived, because he only went this far, and then he had to turn around because he was like, I can't go. There's a couple pictures that somebody took of him skiing away, where they were like, oh, our poor Yuri, as he skis away to go back to civilization. And they were gut-wrenched, but they also were like, we want you to feel better. Like,
yeah, of course,
this is not going to work out for you.
Plus, also, not to be cold, but I'm sure, I'm sure that they all, wanted him to be a part of it. But I'm sure also, losing a member also tends to be a little bit easier. I you know more about mountain traversing than I do, but, I'm sure that, the smaller the crew, the easier it actually is.
Yeah, the less, accountability, all this stuff.
Sure.
But,
I saw Into Thin Air.
So, they skied away from the logging settlement, and Yuri stayed with the logger. I don't know if he stayed with him for another day or if he went back, but he was with the loggers watching as they left.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a very long series of photos where
the movie, those loggers would be like, no, nothing but death up there.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
There's a very long series of photos of the group saying goodbye. They look cheerful but sad, they're excited to do their journey, but they're really sad their friend isn't coming.
Sure, yeah.
And they're like, we're going to be together really soon. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And, it was just a really, really heartfelt goodbye, which just makes it sadder.
Yeah.
Knowing what happened.
Right.
Because they were convinced. They're like, we're going to see you again in February. Don't worry about us.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said, they had a group diary and their own personal diaries and cameras, and because they wanted to detail everything. And they were like, oh, we're gonna look at this trip and we're gonna think, wow, how brave and how tough we were. We did this, like, good for us. Like, these are gonna be good memories. But that's not what happened. But because of this, there's so much that happens, and like, if we didn't have these journals, I think a lot of these little details would be lost. But so I'm going to read some journal entries. So this one is from Zinadia. Oh, not Zendaya. Zinadia.
Ah, dang it.
So this is a journal entry from Zinadia, January 23rd. We're on the road again. We are now sitting in room 531, or rather, of course, not sitting, but frantically shoving into backpacks oatmeals, cans, canned meat. The head of provision distribution, Zazov, is...
Lube, fucking spam.
That must be a pet name.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm not sure who that is. Is overseeing that everybody gets everything. Where are my felt boots? YK, which is Yuri Kuroshenko.
The Wacky World of the Mini Golf, starring Eugene Levy.
Can we play mandolin on the train? Of course, we forgot the salt. This is just, she's listing random snippets of, like, conversations that's happening as they're doing this. Of course, we forgot the salt. 3 kilograms. Igor, where are you? Where is Doroshenko? Why didn't he take 20 packs? Give me 15 kopecks, which is cents, to call. The scales, where are the scales? It doesn't fit, damn it. Who has a knife? Yuri, take this to the station.
So everybody's kind of just like,
oh, somebody just got here. Hello? Can I please get 15 cents? Lugia is counting the money. Lots of money. The room is in artistic mess. And now we are on the train. We sang all the songs that we know. We learned new ones, and everyone goes to sleep at 3 a.m.
God, it's
I
tragic
wonder
how high spirits they were.
I wonder what awaits us in this trip. What will we encounter? The boys solemnly swore not to smoke the entire trip. I wonder how much power they will have to get by without cigarettes.
Ugh.
Spoiler alert, not long. There's definitely pictures of all of them smoking with
Fuck
loggers.
yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, bro. Marlboro cigarettes.
Everybody is falling asleep, but behind the window, your old Tiga is spreading in all directions. Pretty fucking sad.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a different entry from Yuri Yudin, the one who left.
Yeah.
January 24th. 7 a.m. we arrive in Sarov town. We traveled with Blinyov group. They have things for hunting and other accessories. At the station, we were met with hell of a hospitality. They didn't allow us into the building. The policemen stare at us suspiciously. There is no crime or vandalism in this city as it is supposed to be in the times of communism. And then Yuri Krivo started a song. The cops grabbed him and took him away.
Oh, shit.
At the attention of citizen Kuroshenko, Surgeon explained that the rules prohibit all activity that would disturb the peace of passengers. It is perhaps the only train station where the songs are forbidden. So we stayed without singing. Finally, everything is...
The beatings will cease when morale improves.
Yeah. Finally, everything is settled by the end of the day. We are leaving Sarov to Ivdel at 6:30 p.m. We were welcomed warmly in the school near a railway station. The steward, she is also a janitor, boiled some water and helped us with everything we needed for the preparation for the trek.
Fuck sentence.
Right.
She was also the coal shuffler. She was also the fluffer. She was also garbage man, and that is egalitarianism, my comrade.
We have the whole day free. We want to go to the city to visit the nature museum or take a trip to a factory, but too much time has passed in distribution of equipment and cleaning it. Oh, I apologize. 12 o'clock in the interval between first and second shifts in school, we organize meetings with pupils. The room crammed with so many curious kids. Zoratolov, Kivs, I will tell you now, tourism enables you to, everyone is still quiet and engaged. Kalmagrov, ta. What is your name? You went where? Awesome. You have been camping. She went out on a... Questions don't end. We had to explain and to show every kid everything, from torches to tents. It took us 2 hours, and kids didn't want to let us go. They sang songs to each other. The whole school
You got it.
saw us to the station. Everything ended as expected, and when we were leaving, the kids yelled and cried, asking Xena to stay with them. They promised to behave and study well. In the train cart, a young drunk accused us of stealing his booze from his pocket.
Who drank this booze?
Second time this day, the cops were involved.
Jesus.
Discussion about love provoked by Klomagrava. Songs reassessment. Dubina under the seats. Note, this is confirmed by the number of train tickets found in Dyatlov's field bag, with group papers 9, not 10. So they hid someone under the seats because they only bought 9 tickets, not 10.
Oh, shit.
Because this is when there would have been 10 of them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I was going to ask, like, these are the journal entries leading up to that dude leaving camp.
Yeah, so
right?
this is the journal from Yuri Yudin, who left camp.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
So this is
just all of it, and it's leading up to him leaving camp.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No.
I was just like, I'm a little confused. Like, okay, so like he left, and then all of this shit happened? So, okay, cool.
No, I just wanted to talk about the journals and like read some of the diary entries.
Because
so you
it's like such high spirits, and they just seem, like, I know this is like a ridiculous sentence, but it's, fuck, this sounds like us. Like, it sounds like our group of friends fucking around.
Yeah, it was just a group of friends.
Yeah, it's really fucking sad.
Yeah, so they hid someone under the seats, and they had garlic with bread, no water, and they arrived at Ivdel around 12 a.m.
Garlic with bread. Not garlic bread.
Garlic with bread.
Garlic with bread.
No water.
Bread was the accessory.
No water.
No water.
Large waiting room, total freedom of action. We took shifts to watch over our stuff all night long. Bus to Vizzy leaves early in the morning. And so that's the end of what I'm gonna. Let me look.
That's a really good like little thing of just like they were just fucking like, it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, the doomed, like, you know, the doomed party going up, and it's just like, these were just fucking enthusiasts. These were fucking mountain nerds.
They were,
that were just super fucking stoked and having a good time. And like, you can even hear in his journal, like, he's kind of like, yeah, this was supposed to be under communism. Like, even he was just like, this is some fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
no singing aloud. How dare they?
Normal fucking people, man.
Yeah.
It's very easy to villainize like Soviet era Russians, and it's just like, fucking, they were just people.
These are
like,
just kids.
Yeah.
These are just kids.
Yeah, they're all in their 20s.
Except for one.
Yeah.
There was one who, he was in the military for a while. Which, like, oh my god.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Especially in the 59.
Yeah.
Sure hope he wasn't in the military for more than 12 years.
I don't know.
He saw some shit.
But he was, he doesn't talk much.
No shit.
Yeah. They talk about it in their journals and stuff. They're like, yeah, we know him a little bit. We don't know him super well. He doesn't talk much.
Oh, God, that's sad.
But yeah, he was the oldest of the group.
Stop saying that. I keep saying that's sad. Like, so much.
It is sad. But yeah, he was in the Russian military, and so I'm assuming it's kind of like how our military would work. Of like once you serve the military, then you get like free schooling.
Yeah.
And so
well, that was also communism. Like,
yeah. So I think that's why he was in school later.
Yeah,
is because he was out of the military.
Yes.
So on January 31st, the group arrived at the edge of a highland area and began to prepare for climbing. They made a cache for food and supplies to get on their way back, which is frequently what you do when you're summiting. You put half of your supplies in a little cache, so you don't have to carry all of it up the mountain and back.
Okay.
Where you're like, okay, this is for the return trip.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
And they camped where their cache was for the night.
Okay.
The next day, they had to move through a pass. The weather was getting worse, and due to this, they ended up deviating from their original course.
Oh, I've heard that story a million times, huh?
moving a little bit more west than they had planned.
It's all it takes. It's all it fucking... Dude, Donner
Yeah.
Lake was just, what? Like, it was like 6 days? They were 6 days, and it fucked everything up.
With the peak of Kholat Syakhl in view, the group set up camp on the mountain slope rather than a lower altitude. So they would have just needed to move like 1.5 kilometers downhill a
Holy
little
fuck.
to a forested area that would have offered better shelter from the blizzard. So, time skip. February.
Oh, what is this? House of the Dragon?
Do
Oh.
you get it?
Yeah.
Get the reference?
Yeah, of course, it's Wade's World. Anyways.
February 12th passes, and no messages are received. At first, Yuri Yudin is not worried. He's like, you know what? The group kind of was mentioning when he left that the snowpack was as high, like, they might be a little late.
Yeah.
Like, they might be a couple days late, and the 12th might not have been possible.
Sure.
Like, the weather got kind of gross, like,
Yeah.
fair. So by February 20th, however, the worry began to sink in, and the group's families and loved ones began asking for something to be done. The head of the Ural Institute sent the first rescue group of volunteer students and teachers to begin the search and rescue mission. Sorry, I burped halfway through that.
Pregnancy.
The Russian government would also get involved, sending planes and helicopters to join the search efforts. Oops, that's supposed to say February. On the 26th of February, a little over a month after the group set out,
Yeah.
their tent was found.
Oh, fuck.
It's abandoned, badly damaged.
Past the cache, right? This is past their cache?
This is yeah.
Way up the
Way up there,
mountain.
way
Okay.
up there. This is like on the fucking mountain.
Okay.
Like,
Fuck, it took that long for a party to get there?
Uh-huh.
How,
Well,
the blizzard was that bad?
it took 6 days.
Okay.
Because on the 20th is when they were like, hey, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to go look for them.
Okay.
So it actually only took 6 days.
Okay.
But there was
Because they were supposed to be back by the 12th, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the 20th is when the
Got
family
it.
started being like,
So like a week, and they were
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
something's really
they were
wrong.
like, hey, we need to do something.
They, even with the blizzard, they should have been back by now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So then 6 days after that, on the 26th of February, the tent was found. It was half torn down and covered in snow. The tent held the group's belongings and shoes, but there was no sign of the 9.
Shoes?
Yeah.
Just shoes.
What, shoes, clothes,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
but yeah.
Or belongings.
Belongings and shoes, but the most notable
Is the shoes.
is the shoes because
That's
it's
not something you would take off even with sleeping. Wow. Okay.
it's fucking winter and they're on the literal side of a mountain.
Yeah.
Covered in snow. Like, why are all their shoes?
Yeah. Even with paradoxical undressing.
Well,
like, okay.
just wait.
Okay. Sorry.
Just wait.
Excuse me.
Another notable thing about the tent is that it was cut open from the inside. Yeah. The search reveals 9.
Fucking. That's like. that's. God, that's like when you like start seeing like scratches in like a cave, and it's just like, oh fuck, something made that scratch. I need to get out of here. You know what I mean?
The search reveals 9 sets of footprints left by people wearing only socks and bare feet. There was even one set where like you could tell that like they only had one sock on. And there was also one that had a single shoe. But nobody had a full set of shoes. Basically is what I'm saying. From all of these footprints, there was maybe one person that had a shoe, but not a full pair.
Huh.
They led to a nearby forest just a shy mile or that 1.5 kilometers away to the northeast. So I'll explain this more in the next episode.
Okay.
But there was like So imagine kind of this slope, and here's a point up here
Yeah.
at the top of the slope, and then 1.5 kilometers away is a little forested area.
Okay.
The 1.5 kilometers away was what I was talking about earlier, where
That's
it would have
all
been safer for them to camp,
Yeah.
but they didn't.
Yeah, it would have provided shelter. It would have
Yeah.
broken the storm a little
Yeah,
bit on top
yeah.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, instead they camped on this slope.
Which was barren, and so they got the brunt of the storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so all of these...
God, have you ever been in a snow squall before?
Yeah, it sucks.
It's fucking terrifying.
It sucks.
Well, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's just, like...
You can't see shit.
Well, it feels otherworldly.
Yeah.
Because it's just, like, I am completely unsafe right now. Yeah. I've driven through one, and it immediately happened, and it lasted for, like, 10 minutes, and then left.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, you could not see a couple feet in front of you. It
Yeah.
was wild.
Yeah. But so all of the footprints are running back down to that forested path where they probably should have camped.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. After 500 meters, the footprints begin to get covered by snow. Under a large tree at the forest's edge were the remnants of a small fire. Next to this fire, 2 bodies were found nearby.
So it sounds like they tried to make it to the forest.
The bodies of Gregory Kirvashenko and Yuri Doroshenko, both wearing only their long underwear, no shoes in sight. The branches on the tree that they were found next to, with the campfire, had a bunch of broken branches 5 meters off the ground, suggesting maybe one of the 2 men tried to climb up the tree to see something, maybe looking for the camp.
Oh. I was going to say, like, at first I was just like, oh, they probably used it for kindling. And then it was like 5 meters, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. Between the camp and the pine, so in that 1.5 meters, searchers found 3 more bodies. Igor Dyatlov. See, now this one says I must have misspelled it the second time.
Zendaya.
Zendaya Komarova.
We'll just call them Zendaya.
And Rustem Slowabin. Rustem was the one that was in the military.
Okay.
They were found in poses that suggested that they were trying to return to the tent when they died.
Oh, so they were like fucking pointing towards it?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I got the directions wrong. So there was a little tiny forested clearing, and then there was more just like open past that.
Yeah.
In the open past that is where they found these 3 bodies.
Okay.
So further out.
Got it. Weird that they all went in different directions.
But so they're using the tree where they found the first 2 bodies as a marker.
Okay.
Now, so from the tree, they were found 300 meters, 480 meters, and 630 meters away from that tree.
God damn. That's... God. I don't know fucking Doctor Who fucking units, but I know that they're big.
Weather conditions were too bad to continue to search for the other 4 that had not been accounted for. Oh, sorry, hiccups. It was decided that conditions in the spring would be much better suited for a successful recovery mission. I believe they knew it wasn't going to be possible that the other 4 were alive, and that going back to save them wasn't possible, and so they were like, fuck it, we'll go later, and we'll do a recovery for the bodies later. Like, it's not worth risking other lives for people that are no longer living.
Yeah.
They were like, this is a recovering bodies mission. So 3 months after the hikers went missing, the remaining 4 were found on May 4th, 1959.
Oh my... Wow. Months later.
Well, like I said, they had to wait for...
Winter to pass.
And, like, it takes a lot longer for shit to thaw out a little that high up in the mountains.
Yeah.
So they had to wait for it to be May. What's going on? I lost my spot. Sorry, my phone was glitching.
Uh-huh.
They were found... So the 4 remaining were found under 4 meters of snow, which is 13 feet.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the only measurement I have in...
oh, God damn it.
In freedom units, sorry.
Yeah. How many hot dogs is that?
In a ravine 75 meters further into the woods past that pine tree.
Fucking buried that deep in snow.
Buried that deep in snow.
Fucking deeper than you bury corpses. Fuck me.
The ravine had a small creek with running water through it. So, like, we've got the slope, we've got the forested area, kind of a break.
Yeah.
And then, like, a ways in, this, like, big ravine. And that's where all these other bodies were. 3 of the 4 were better dressed than the others, and there were signs that some of the clothing of those who had died first had been removed by the others for use.
Oh, okay.
So, they were like, oh, this person's fucking dead, I'm cold.
I'm taking their shit.
I'm taking their shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Ludmila Dubina was wearing Gregory Chirosvenko's burned quilted coat that the group had previously made fun of earlier in the trip. It's noted.
Dude, think about, like...
in the journals where he had this coat that, like, got burnt, and they were like, you brought that?
Every time we go to REI, or, like, a sportsman's, like, shop, right? I always go towards, like, the, like, 450 below, like, jackets, because they're huge, right?
Yeah.
Like, Antarctic expedition jackets, right? They're also, like, a couple $100. I'll never own one.
Yeah.
But, like, I like seeing them because they're, like, they're enormous, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have that shit back then. And so it's just, like, yeah, a quilted fucking jacket. And it's just, like,
this jacket was literally made out of, like, quilts off of his, like, fucking grandma's bed.
Jesus.
And they made fun of him for it.
Oh, God. Oh.
Ludmilla was also wearing his torn trousers, and her left foot and shin were wrapped up in a torn jacket.
Oh.
A legal inquest was started immediately after the first 5 bodies were found. And then, so obviously, while they're waiting for fucking shit to thaw out...
Yeah.
They
would add more.
Yeah, they do a medical examination and found no injuries that might have led to their deaths. And it was concluded they all died of hypothermia. Rustem had a small crack in his skull, but it was deemed to be potentially non-fatal. A second examination was done after the 4 following bodies, the last of the bodies was found in the ravine, and it resulted in the narrative shifting completely.
Oh.
3 of the hikers had fatal injuries. Nikolai had major skull damage. Ludmila and Simon Zalatrov both had major chest fractures.
Oh, Jesus.
Boris Denny, the medical examiner, said the force needed to cause the damage to create the chest fractures of this magnitude would have been very high, similar to that of a high-speed impact car crash.
Huh.
None of the bodies had external wounds associated with bone fractures.
Oh, it was all internal?
As if they had been subjected to a high level of pressure.
Oh.
All 4 of the bodies near the creek had soft tissue damage to their head and face, and Ludmilla was missing her tongue, her eyes, part of her lips, and other facial tissue, as well as a fragment of her skull bone.
Oh my God.
Simon was missing his eyes, and... What?
No, sorry, I do this.
You did this last time, too.
I'm sorry.
You did this last time, too.
It just keeps getting worse.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And Alexander Kolatorov was missing his eyebrows.
Fucking what?
Yep. Medical examiner Boris concluded that the injuries were post-mortem.
Vladimir, was he surprised? Does he have a surprised look on his face, as if he saw the killer coming? I cannot tell you that, Inspector.
He has no eyebrows.
He has no eyebrows.
So the medical examiner concluded the injuries were post-mortem, and most likely due to animal activity, due to the proximity of their bodies to the stream.
Okay.
I mean, we make jokes all the time about if we die in the house, how Fezzik's going to eat our noses.
Oh, we know that.
Yeah.
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 He's taking bites, like, us living.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
know he has a taste for flesh.
Yeah. And, you know...
So that's the idea, is that those things were caused by animals.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's all soft tissue.
Okay.
And that would be the most easily accessed, especially, like, as the snow melted, like...
Yeah, okay.
You know, their faces might be more readily accessible.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was like, they weren't alive when this happened. This all happened after they died.
Thank Christ.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I've read conflicting reports about Lumilla's tongue and that it was missing, which, like, everything states that it was missing, but that she also had blood in her stomach.
Which means she might have bitten it off.
Yeah. So I don't know, but that it's, like I said, that's conflicting.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it's possible.
I mean,
maybe,
with all that trauma, like, I would imagine there'd be blood in her stomach.
right? But it's also possible they fell into the ravine.
Yeah.
So she could have, like, yeah, I don't know. But because immediately blaming indigenous people isn't just an American thing,
Cool.
the Mansi people were immediately blamed for their deaths.
Yay!
Hooray! People said that the Mansi hunters, who the hikers had noted signs of them being in the area, and, like, followed their trails and stuff, and they note this very clearly in their journals. They have pictures of some of the Mansi markings, and they're like, oh, we followed this trail to help us get where we needed to go and stuff. They're like, oh, they saw the hikers and attacked them for encroaching on their land, and that's why they died.
Yeah.
The Russian government did interrogate several Mansi people.
I'm sure they were very kind about it, too.
And, oh, yeah. And rightfully, the Mansi people denied it. Because they didn't fucking do it.
Sure.
Evidence collected at the scene as well did not support anyone other than the hikers being there, and there was no sign of hand-to-hand combat, let alone a struggle of any type.
Okay.
Like, it just didn't happen. Temperatures were very low on the mountain, around negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit to negative 22 at its coldest, which, like, we've had winters colder, but that's still fucking cold.
Yeah, it's still cold.
Still fucking cold. Which in European degrees is negative 25 to negative 30 degrees Celsius.
It's cold.
This cold. On top of being the blizzard that night, so, like, it's cold and it's blizzarding, so, like, factor in wind chill.
Yeah.
Too. Like, so it was probably bitter cold. Pictures of the last day taken by the group clearly show them fighting with the blizzard. The group, save for a few who pulled clothes from the dead, were barely clothed, and it's not hard to imagine that weather played...
They took pictures after people died?
Well, they had to take pictures of the bodies.
Yeah,
and stuff,
okay.
but there is 2 pictures from their last day that was taken by the group.
I bet it's haunting.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's not hard to imagine that weather was a massive factor in their deaths of just, like, it dying to exposure. Like, it just, yeah. So, I'm almost done, and I wrapped this up really nicely for myself, so I'm really proud of me. Good job.
Okay.
So to wrap up the first half of this, we'll go over what we know and the aftermath, and then we'll get into the theories and how we solved it in the next part. So 6 members of the group died from hypothermia, and 3 died from fatal injuries.
Okay.
There were no other people nearby on Kholat Syakhl. There was another group 50 kilometers, 31 miles to the south of the incident. And we know that there were Mansi people that lived on the mountain, but do not believe that they would have cared to even have bothered these 9 people and kept to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The group themselves have photos, mention signs of the Mansi, but never actual sightings of any people. So the group themselves even are like, okay, we've seen, like, Mansi, like, notes and things, because they would, like, carve them into trees and stuff, but they never saw a Mansi person themselves. They never noted it in their notes, which I believe if they had, they would have, because their notes are very, very detailed. I mean, if we literally can have details about the fact that they made fun of somebody for his coat, they're gonna have details like that, you know?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The tent was ripped open from the inside.
Yeah.
The victims died 6 to 8 hours after their last meal.
Oh.
Traces of a small...
Oh, that sucks. I'd be real mad about that.
Traces of a small secondary camp were found showing that they had tried to regroup. Footprints indicate that they left on foot willingly from the tent. I mean,
Shoeless.
as willingly as you can call it when the tent is ripped from the inside.
Right.
This part is weird, but some levels of radiation were found on the clothing of one victim.
That is weird.
It's really weird. Injuries sustained by the three could not have been done by a human being due to the force required.
Mm-hmm. Yeti.
And there was no survivors that made it all the way to Kholat. Obviously, Yuri, you did survive, but
Because he left early?
he left early.
Yeah. God, talk about survivor's guilt.
Yeah.
Shit.
There has never been released documentation about the condition of the hikers' internal organs. Everything I read just kind of like, whoop, right over that. And it was just like, I would have really liked to know, like,
more.
What's going on
Yeah.
internally with some of that shit, but that was
Yeah.
never-
Turns out that are missing all of their pancreases.
never covered. So, the group was deemed to have died of an overwhelmingly natural force, and the files were sealed and sent to a secret archive.
What the fuck? So you can't say unnatural force? Unnatural force, and also we're not going to talk about it anymore.
A natural.
A natural. A natural force.
Natural.
That doesn't make it better. That doesn't make it better. You know what's also natural? Cyanide. That just fucking grows out of the ground. Fucking no. Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
In 1997, the negatives from Gregory Cherkinski's, half of the time I can say this, half of the time I can't, from Gregory's camera that were kept in a secret archive were revealed.
Oh.
They fell into public domain in 2009. In 2018, Simon Zalatorov's remains were exhumed due to a journalist from a Russian tabloid who believed that someone was living under Simon's name.
Weird.
Yeah, they ran DNA and found no living relatives. Simon is the only one not buried in Ivanovsky Cemetery. They ruled that the body was indeed Simon Zalatorov, and although the journalist continued to speculate that someone post-World War II was living under Simon's name.
Oh.
It's really weird. But
fucking weird.
I can't remember why. There was a reason he was buried separate, and I think it was something to do with like a family practice. I can't remember if it was that he was Jewish or his family was Jewish, and so they wanted him buried in a Jewish cemetery, or it was something like that. But they did like a group grave for the group.
Uh-huh.
Which is really weird.
It is really weird.
Especially because, like...
It's unnecessary.
Yeah. Like, they should have gotten their own burials.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
God, I don't want to be slumped in with these assholes.
Well, I mean, they were all friends and stuff, but
I don't care.
It's just weird that the Russian government was like, no.
I gotta tell you, if we all die together, I don't want to be in the same grave as Pat. I'm sorry, I love Pat. I want to be next to you.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Like, even then, I don't want to be buried, but like whatever.
Yeah.
That's super weird.
Yeah, but so they were like, no, you can't. They can't have their own burial plots.
Why?
But Simon's family fought, and they were like, no. I'm pretty sure it was because they were Jewish, but I can't remember.
Very specific burying process. A very specific funeral process.
Yes.
They have to be buried. They have to be buried standing up. They have to be buried by a rabbi. They have to be buried by... Their family needs to sit Shiva, which I don't know if you guys know this. It's really hard. It still is, but it's really hard to be Jewish in Russia.
Uh-huh.
They made a play about it called Fiddler on the Roof.
Yep.
It's real hard to be Jewish in Russia.
Yeah.
So I bet you that the Soviet government, who was staunchly atheistic to the point of there were pogroms to kick Jews out.
Well,
of
this
Russia.
is also post-World War II.
Correct. It doesn't make it any better. Like, it just... So I'm sure
Well,
that
I mean,
family...
like, freshly post-World War II.
Yeah. So I'm sure that family, like, was not taken seriously. If anything, they were probably fucking, like, harassed.
And I can't remember if it was because he was Jewish or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, caveat on that. But there was... The family had a very specific reason why he couldn't be buried with everyone else, and so that's why he was buried separately.
Kept in family, like it's a very specific Jewish tradition.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, if he wasn't Jewish, there was another reason.
Oh, okay.
That the family was like, he has to be buried separately.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because I understand that there's tradition with that. Like I'm not diminishing that, but I can't remember if that's why,
or if it was something else,
or if it was something else. But there was something that they were like, he has to be buried separately.
Yeah.
But yeah, they denied all the other families, and they were like, nope, mass grave.
That's rough. That sucks.
So there's like a big memorial on their gravesite, but yeah, there's one that didn't get buried with everybody else because they were like.
Imagine if like when Yuri died, they were just like, okay, open up the grave. He goes in too. Like,
yeah. He passed away. I want to say in like 2011.
Oh wow. Huh.
Well.
Oh yeah, I guess if he was only like 20, it's my grandpa's age. If he was only 20 in the 50s, then yeah.
He was 21.
Yeah. So yeah, that track there.
He might have died a little more recently than that, but I'm pretty sure he passed away recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and by recently, 90s. I mean within like the last decade.
He would have been in his 90s. So
yeah. But so I don't think they buried him with them either.
No, I'm just saying that'd be really funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so that's part one. We'll get into a lot of the theories. The theories is kind of I started to read the beginning of the theories, and I forgot how stupid some of these are. Some of these are so dumb. Like, so dumb. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, so that's good. And then I'm excited to see how well.
I've heard quite a few. I've heard Yeti. I've heard aliens. I've heard ghosts. I've heard Yeah.
So I'm also really excited to see how well I explain snow physics.
Well, gosh, I'm in bated breath. I can't wait.
We'll see if I do a good job on that or not.
I'm sure you'll do great.
I am not very good at maths. So
you'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll see.
I trust in your research.
Thanks.
Okay.
I did so much research on this too.
Well, good. Okay, so we're at an hour and a half.
Okay.
Did you want to do a couple headlines?
Yeah, let's do a couple headlines.
Okay. Pennsylvania parks officials release curious statement about Bigfoot warnings.
Oh.
This probably won't settle the debate. The headline reads.
Oh.
Parks officials in Pennsylvania say they don't know who's posting signs warning of Bigfoot activity in the area, but it's not them. They also threw cold water on the notion that Sasquatch might be making a home in the Keystone State, or anywhere else for that matter. Bigfoot is not real, Wesley Robinson, press secretary for the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources.
Well, Wesley, you're a fun sucker.
The sign states that there have been encounters in the area and call on visitors to observe elevated park etiquette, be cautious of your surroundings, and to keep the location of any small children or pets within a tighter scope of awareness.
I mean, that's good advice.
Good in general. Good in general. They also warn, do not approach the creature. Robinson added that the signs, which have been turning up for months in many parks, are removed whenever spotted. Visitors have been posting images of the signs on social media, including one that drew a response from the Conservation Department, which runs the state's parks. So yeah, it was a tweet with the, take a picture of like the posting, right? Is there like any legitimacy to this? To which the Parks Department responded with, nope, rangers are aware and are removing them and investigating the situation. These were not posted by DCNR and is an unauthorized use of our logo. That's what they're mad about.
Yeah, probably.
The agency's claim that Bigfoot isn't real is unlikely to end the debate about the cryptid anytime soon, as searching for Sasquatch remains a popular pastime in the parks around the nation. Oklahoma lawmakers even proposed a Bigfoot hunting season, complete with cash prize.
Yeah.
Not to kill the creature, just to find evidence of it.
There's been a lot of reported sightings in northern Montana, actually, up towards Glacier.
Mm-hmm.
There's been quite a few people who have like, oh yeah, I'm convinced I saw Sasquatch up here. So it's like our area, and then like the Pacific Northwest.
That's
is where the most common areas for sightings are. But
interesting.
Yeah. I think I've talked about this before, but there was a really, really interesting podcast that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, searching for Sasquatch.
No, Finding Bigfoot.
Whatever.
And it takes a look at Bigfoot through
anthropology.
Through a lens of anthropology. It's fucking fascinating.
Okay.
I loved it so much.
I've had it in the queue for a long time.
It was such a fucking treat.
Yeah. While the majority of Bigfoot sightings seem to take place in the Pacific Northwest and California, Pennsylvania has had its share of Sasquatch activity over the years. The Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization has 124, in quotes, credible sightings in Pennsylvania listed in its database, including someone who claims to have seen 2 and heard more of them whistling near his cabin.
Oh.
Apparently they whistle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Bigfoot. I'm and can't leave him alone.
Yeah.
But like I love Bigfoot.
Also, that advice was really good advice.
Just in general, honestly. Don't approach animals.
Don't approach wild animals.
Yeah.
Especially in national parks.
No.
I know I haven't. I don't know if I've actually told this story on the podcast. I know I've told you this story before.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up in Montana, Yellowstone is a common family time activity. He's licking his support bag, I think.
Okay.
Our cat's really weird, and he likes to lick plastic grocery bags for support. So we let him.
Yep.
But no, so I went to Yellowstone when I was in middle school with the family. And I remember one time anytime there's an animal sighting, we call it like a traffic jam, but there was always what we called bear jams. Mm-hmm. Because they would be the worst to get around, because as soon as someone saw a bear, traffic just got stupid.
Oh.
Because everybody would pull off to the side of the road and get out and walking around, and it's just like, you shouldn't be doing that when there's a bear. But so there was a black bear and her cub, and my favorite thing to do is when you see a bear jam, and you look at all the license plates that are parked for the bear jam, and then you guess based on where the license plate, which person is from where, based on how close to the bear they are.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was talking with one of the rangers, and like we were a well ways away. We could see the bear, but we weren't where she could get us, and we were kind of watching her. And I was kind of just talking to him about just general stuff of like, how's the season been? Are you guys busy? I hope you haven't had any too many animal attacks. Like, things have been good. Just chatting, and because I love talking to national park people.
Yeah.
If you are nice to them, you can get them to tell you some of the wildest stories. So always be nice to your parks people.
Okay.
Because they're great. But so we were just chatting, and all of a sudden we hear, "Kids, go stand next to the bear. I'm going to go take your picture." And his eyes just going really wide. And he's like, "I gotta go." He was like, "You might want to get in your car." And I was like, "Okay."
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So I grabbed the family. I was like, "All right, let's go."
Yep, we're done.
We're
good.
done. I don't want to watch children get mauled by a bear today.
At least you're having fun.
But, yeah, I called it because that was the New Yorker. They were from New York City.
Oh, fair.
And they were like, "Go stand next to the bear." It was just like...
Speaking of New York.
Oh, my God.
New York man charged with putting several reptiles in his pants.
Good for him.
A New York City man is accused of hiding 3 Burmese pythons, one of the world's largest snakes, in his pants.
Okay, I was thinking like lizards.
Nope.
You just said reptiles.
Yeah. In his pants at a U.S. Canadian...
In his pants.
Pants.
Oh, I was going to say python.
Oh,
python.
even better. So yeah, this was at the U.S.-Canada border crossing in New York. Upstate New York.
God.
Calvin Batista, age 36, is accused of bringing the hidden snakes on a bus that crossed into northern New York on July 15, 2018. Oh, excuse me. Swallowed my own spit.
Oh, I hate that.
Importation of Burmese pythons is regulated by an international treaty and by federal regulations listing them as injurious to human beings. Batista, of Queens, was arraigned Tuesday in Albany on the federal smuggling charge and released pending trial. According to a news release from the office of U.S. Attorney Carla B. Friedman. I'm sure she had more important shit going on. But an email seeking comment was sent to Batista's lawyer. The charge carries the potential for a maximum prison sentence of 20 years.
Oh my god.
And a fine as high as $250,000.
Okay, we charge less for sexual crimes against children.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Josh Duggar only got 12 fucking years.
Yeah. But this guy got snakes.
This guy put snakes in his pants.
Yep. He's a danger to everyone around him.
And he's gonna get 20 years and $250,000.
Yep.
Oh
That's
my
how
God.
it works, babe. The Burmese python, one of the world's largest snakes, is considered a vulnerable species in its native Asia and is invasive in Florida, where it threatens native animals.
Well, yeah.
That's all there is on that one.
Okay.
But yeah.
You said reptiles in his pants, and I was thinking, like, geckos, or,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, it's always animals with me.
That's okay. As long as it's not a donkey repeat.
No.
I don't care.
It might not be. So we got 3.
Okay.
I can
Hit me with your pet shark.
Okay. German customs officials follow a trail of slime and find bags of giant snails.
Okay.
Researchers discover skeleton at Polish cemetery that's straight out of a horror film. An Ohio tree trimmer expected to survive after suffering 20,000 bee stings.
Oh my god. So the Polish one, is this the weird vampire corpse?
I think so. Researchers have yes. Female vampire.
Yes, it's very interesting. Let's do that one.
Yeah. Researchers have recently discovered a centuries-old female vampire held to the ground by a sickle and buried in a Polish village cemetery. The remains of the so-called vampire were found by a team of Torin Nicholas Copernicus University researchers. I fucking nailed that name.
Yeah, you did.
In Pien. Probably didn't say that right. It's P-I-E-N with a little tilde on top of the N. So I don't know. I need to watch more British Bake Off with our boy Tamuz. What's his name?
Janusz.
Janusz.
I love Janusz.
Janusz is my hopeful. Don't anybody spoil it for me. He deserves the best things in life. Roughly a half-hour drive from the city of Bydgoszcz.
Henry would be so disappointed.
Bydgoszcz.
Sure.
Bydgoszcz. According to Turkish media sites Arkeonews. The skeleton reportedly dates to the 17th century and has a sickle around its neck, believed to be placed there to prevent her from coming back to life. There was also a padlock on a toe, the researcher said.
On a toe?
On a toe. Also attributed to superstitions about how to keep the dead from rising from the grave. The woman was also buried with a silk cap, which archaeologists thought indicated her high ranking in society. A front tooth jutted out of the mouth, a feature that could have raised suspicions that she was a vampire. Such a discovery, especially here in Poland, is astonishing, especially now, centuries later. Pure astonishment.
That was good.
Said Professor Dariusz Polinsky, the leader of the research team, told CBS News. Polinsky told Arkeonews that there were several methods the superstitious used to protect themselves against the dead who had been accused of being vampires and witches, including cutting off heads and legs. I gotta tell you, cutting off the head of anything will stop it.
Right?
That's fucking not just vampires. You do that to anything and it will fucking come back. Burning, smashing bodies against stone, and placing their faces towards the ground.
Yep.
The sickle is also could have cut the dead person's head if they tried to rise again. So as they're like doing a fucking like the Michael Myers fucking sit up and shit, the sickle will catch him. More research is expected at the Polish cemetery as researchers from Poland's Institute of Archaeology at the University of Krakow test the DNA of the skeleton. The woman, but yeah.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Padlock a vampire by the toe.
Ooh.
Yeah, I saw a lot of tweets about that where everybody was like, if I learned anything from that fucking sarcophagus a few years ago, don't remove the sickle.
No, not at all.
Leave it there.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Technically, it was right before.
Yeah.
the fucking pandemic.
It was. And do you remember that rock in Japan that housed the demon that broke open?
Well, that was
randomly?
during the Patricia.
And
though.
look at things now. It's so much better.
Yeah.
So yeah, in Japan, there's this very famous stone that was said, it's like wrapped in shit and like said to be house a demon. And it's like centuries old.
It, like,
and it cracked open. It randomly cracked open in, I think, 2021.
It was, I can't remember, late 2020 or mid 2021.
But it was just like how about that? All right. And then Cthulhu has risen. Like, it's just like, yeah, let's just pile it on.
There's been enough subplots between the last several years that I don't fucking know
I gotta
anymore.
tell you, the writers are getting sloppy because I can't keep up anymore. But yeah.
Yeah. I just remember the sarcophagus happened. I want to say it was like 2018.
Yeah, something like that.
2018,
God, I forgot all about that.
Oh, I did not forget.
Yeah. But that's our episode for the weekend.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you listening.
I hope you guys like the first part.
Yeah. We'll get into the nitty gritty in the second
of all the theories. What were your thoughts so far on just the facts of what happened?
I think I have a pretty good idea, honestly, and unfortunately, it's not fun.
I know.
It's very just like I think.
Oh no, I just meant like, did I do a good job?
You did a fantastic job. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of just laying out the facts.
Yeah,
this is what happened.
it's a very weird fucking, like, it's a very weird set of circumstances.
Yeah.
That, like, now that we do have the knowledge of what actually happened, it is just sort of like, oh, well, yeah, duh.
Yeah.
But, like, it is just sort of like, fucking, this is crazy. And it's weird that it's, like, pervaded us for, like, 70 years of just, like, we have no fucking idea. And until very recently. That's also interesting as well.
Yeah.
History and mysteries are great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to do my favorite, the second favorite. I guess now it's my first favorite because this one is solved, but history mystery. I know I've talked about this. It's the lighthouse.
Yes! Oh, fuck yeah! The owl! The giant owl.
That's the theory.
That's a giant owl swooped in and picked up 2 lighthouse workers.
Picked up 3 lighthouse keepers.
3 lighthouse workers.
3 lighthouse keepers and just flew away with them.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's also stupid. But,
yeah, there's some really stupid theories
really
for that
fucking
one.
stupid ones. But yeah, please, like I said, we want to do a listener episode.
Yes,
coming up. We would love to include it into the Halloween episode, so please send in your submissions. Right, if you know a scary story, there's a scary story you want told that's not yours, fucking write it. We'll give credit to the original author. Yeah. Fucking whatever.
Fucking if you like have family members that like have ghost stories, fucking get them to tell them to you. Write it down and send it in.
Please at utterlyunbelievable@gmail.com. Anything else, Allie?
I don't think so.
It's kind of cool that we're kind of getting into a rhythm. We recorded and we recorded again.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to make sure this month is always really stupid busy for us. So
yeah.
We're just trying to make sure we actually have content for you this year instead of like last year. We're like, we're going to have so much content in October and then nothing fucking happened.
Yeah.
So just, yeah.
We had stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about Turkey Pete.
Talked about Turkey Pete.
Turkey Pete.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, with that, thank you everybody and stay safe out there.
See you fuckers.